The Pride Lands will never end while the Lion Guard is here. And just like this tiny tree, we'll keep growing stronger.
Did you know Kion was supposed to play a major role in The Lion King 2? But during production, he vanished from the story. This wasn't a mistake or oversight. It was intentional, hiding a secret that could change everything we thought we knew about the Lion King universe. Kion's absence left a mystery in its wake. What untold journey did this important character embark on? The truth about why Kion wasn't in The Lion King 2 might surprise you. Are you ready to uncover the hidden story behind his disappearance and its impact on the Pride Lands? Remember when Kion faced Scar's dark spirit in that epic battle we saw in the Lion Guard? We never really got to see the aftermath, did we? Kion won, but at what cost? That battle wasn't just any ordinary fight. It was a clash of good versus evil, light versus darkness. Kion had to dig deep into his very soul to overcome Scar's malevolent presence. The victory came with a price that Kion would have to pay long after the dust had settled. We saw Kion get hurt during that battle, but it was more than just physical wounds. The encounter with Scar's spirit left scars that ran much deeper than we could see on the surface. Kion was left feeling lost and confused, questioning everything he thought he knew about himself and his role as leader of the Lion Guard. How do you go back to normal life after facing pure evil like that? Kion's absence from The Lion King 2 wasn't just a coincidence. It was part of a much bigger story that we never got to see on screen. Kion was always so dedicated to his family and his duties as leader of the Lion Guard. For him to not be there during such important events in the Pride Lands, there must have been a really good reason. After that battle with Scar, Kion realized he needed to leave the Pride Lands, not because he wanted to abandon his responsibilities, but because he knew he couldn't be the leader his pride needed until he healed both physically and emotionally. He heard whispers of a magical place called the Tree of Life, a sacred sanctuary where animals from all over the world go to find healing and enlightenment. Kion thought maybe that's exactly what he needed. Leaving the Pride Lands wouldn't have been an easy decision for Kion. He'd be leaving behind everything and everyone he ever knew and loved. His family, his friends, his whole life. But he felt like he had no other choice. He was afraid that the darkness he encountered in his battle with Scar had somehow infected him, and he didn't want to risk hurting the ones he cared about most. Picture Kion setting out on a long and dangerous journey all alone, leaving in the dead of night so he wouldn't have to face the sadness in his family's eyes as they said goodbye. Can you imagine how scared and uncertain he must have felt as he took those first steps away from everything familiar? But also how determined he was to become the leader he knew he could be? Kion's journey to the Tree of Life was full of challenges and obstacles that tested him in ways he never imagined before. He encountered new friends along the way who helped him see the world from different perspectives. He faced enemies even more terrifying than Scar that forced him to confront his deepest fears and insecurities. Kion's arrival at the Tree of Life wasn't the end of his journey. It was just the beginning of something even bigger. While he was there, healing and learning, he discovered a new purpose, a calling that went beyond just protecting the Pride Lands. He realized that there were threats out there in the wider world that needed someone like him to face them. That's why Kion wasn't in The Lion King 2. Not because he was forgotten or abandoned, but because he was out there somewhere becoming the hero the animal kingdom needed. Someone who could protect and guide not just the Pride Lands, but all the lands. A true guardian of balance, working in the shadows to ensure peace for all animals. The Tree of Life, what a place. Right? But what if it wasn't exactly what Kion expected when he finally arrived there after his long journey? What if instead of finding instant healing and peace, he discovered a whole new world of challenges and mysteries? Because the Tree of Life isn't just some magical fix-it spot, it's a gathering place for animals from all corners of the earth, each with their own unique abilities and stories to tell. So imagine Kion stepping into this incredible diverse community, feeling a little lost and overwhelmed at first, but then he starts to meet new friends. There's a wise old elephant who's seen it all, and a mischievous monkey who keeps Kion on his toes. These new friendships, they're helping Kion see the world in a whole new way, opening his eyes to different perspectives and ways of living. But here's the thing, Kion didn't come to the Tree of Life just to make new friends, he came to heal. And that healing, it's not as easy as he thought it would be, because those scars from his battle with Scar, they run deep, both physically and emotionally. And what if Kion starts to doubt himself? What if he wonders if he'll ever be the strong leader he once was without the roar of the elders to back him up. And that's where the real challenge begins, because Kion has to learn how to be a different kind of leader, one who doesn't rely on raw power but on wisdom and understanding and empathy. And it's not an easy journey. There are setbacks and moments of frustration, but with each small victory, Kion grows stronger, not just in body but in spirit too. Now let's talk about those wise old animals at the Tree of Life, because they've got some serious knowledge to drop, and Kion, he's soaking it all up like a sponge, learning about the delicate balance of nature and how every creature, big or small, plays a vital role in the circle of life. And this knowledge is changing Kion, making him see beyond the borders of the Pride Lands and understand that his responsibility as a leader, it's so much bigger than he ever imagined. But here's where things get really interesting, because as Kion's healing progresses and he's learning all these new things, he starts to realize that going back to his old life in the Pride Lands might not be an option anymore. It's like he's outgrown his old self, and the thought of just going back and picking up where he left off, it doesn't feel right anymore. And that's when Kion starts to hear whispers of something bigger, something that needs his unique mix of strength and newfound wisdom, because the world outside the Tree of Life and beyond the Pride Lands, it's full of dangers and injustices that need to be addressed. And Kion, with all he's learned and experienced, he might just be the perfect lion for the job. So as Kion's time at the Tree of Life comes to an end, he's not the same lion who arrived there all those months ago. He's stronger, yes, but he's also wiser, more compassionate, and with a much broader understanding of the world and his place in it. And that's when he realizes that his journey is far from over. In fact, it's only just beginning, because there's a whole world out there that needs a guardian, a protector, someone who can bring balance and justice to all creatures. As Kion's time at the Tree of Life draws to a close, he feels something bigger on the horizon. Whispers of trouble spread through the savannah like wildfire, far beyond average lion squabbles or hyena hijinks. Kion overhears travelers speaking of dark forces gathering, entire herds vanishing, and a sinister power threatening nature's balance. At first, he dismisses it as gossip, but what if there's truth to these tales? What if there are threats that make Scar look like a mischievous cub in comparison? Kion realizes the Pride Lands are just a tiny piece of a much bigger puzzle. He learns of vast deserts where sandstorms swallow elephants, dense jungles where ancient creatures lurk, and frozen tundras where survival is a daily battle. In these far-flung corners, animals cry out for protection from forces threatening their existence. As Kion ponders who could take on such a task, he catches his reflection in a pool. His scar, once a source of shame, now seems like a badge of honor. It hits him like a rhino charge. This could be his true calling, his greater purpose. Kion throws himself into training, honing his skills and studying animals from every corner of the earth. He forms a new team: Binga, the resourceful honey badger, Ronnie, the wise night pride leader, and Ono, the keen-eyed egret. Together, they could become an unstoppable force for good, working in the shadows to maintain balance. This new mission brings challenges Kion never faced before, coordinating a team across vast distances, gathering intelligence on distant threats, and keeping their existence secret while changing history. All pose unique difficulties. Kion realizes this role means sacrifices, missing important events back home, long nights patrolling unfamiliar territories, and intense strategy sessions become his new normal. But he knows this sacrifice is necessary to protect not just the Pride Lands, but every animal, everywhere. When it's time to leave the Tree of Life, Kion doesn't return to the Pride Lands. He sets off towards the unknown with his team, moving like shadows across the landscape. That's why he's absent during the Lion King 2's events. He's out there somewhere, fighting secret battles and facing unimaginable enemies to maintain nature's delicate balance. Kion's new life as a secret protector is full of challenges and tough choices. He's working in the shadows to keep everyone safe, but it's not easy being away from his family and missing important moments. Imagine how hard it is for Kion to hide his mission even from Simba, Nala, and Kiara, not telling them about the amazing and dangerous things he's doing every day. But maybe Kion learns that working in secret is the best way to protect everyone from threats they don't even know about. It gets really tough for Kion when he has to make hard choices, like not being there for Kiara's first hunt or her wedding to Kovu. Those are huge moments in his family's life, and he can't be there because he's off fighting evil somewhere else. It hurts him deep down inside, but he knows it's for the greater good. What if Kion was watching from afar during some of the events in The Lion King 2, unable to reveal himself to his family? That would be so heartbreaking for him to be so close, but have to stay hidden. Kion faces enemies that are smarter and more dangerous than before, like evil poachers trying to capture rare animals or corrupt animal leaders abusing their power. These aren't the kind of bad guys you can just scare away with a big roar. Kion has to use his brain and all his skills to outsmart them. He's traveling to new and dangerous places that make his old battles look easy, like crossing vast deserts with sandstorms that can swallow elephants, sneaking through dense jungles where ancient creatures lurk, or surviving in frozen tundras where every day is a fight against the elements. These places are testing Kion in ways he never imagined. What if Kion learns to use his roar in new and secret ways we never saw in the Lion Guard? Maybe he discovers he can use it to communicate over long distances, create illusions to trick his enemies, or even heal injuries. That would be so cool and explain why he's becoming such a legend in the animal kingdom. As Kion's secret mission takes him further away from the Pride Lands, it gets harder for him to think about returning home. He's seen so much of the world now and knows there are threats his family can't even imagine. He feels it's his duty to protect them all, even if they don't know he's doing it. But all this secret keeping and dangerous missions start to take a toll on Kion. Maybe he feels lonely and isolated, even with his team, because he can't share his true feelings. He might doubt if he's doing the right thing by staying away from his family for so long. What if he starts to forget what it's like to just be a normal lion and have fun because he's always on high alert, waiting for the next threat? Kion's been out there protecting animals and fighting bad guys for so long now, but what if being a secret guardian is like carrying a mountain on your back every single day and Kion's starting to crack under the pressure? We've seen him face all sorts of challenges, but the toughest battle he's fighting is the one inside his head. Think about it. Kion's been away from his family for such a long time now, and he's missed so many important moments, like Kiara's first hunt and her big wedding day to Kovu and all the other stuff that happened in The Lion King 2, and he's feeling really torn up inside about not being there for all of that, because even though he knows his secret mission is super important, he can't help but wonder if he made the right choice, leaving everything behind. Kion's feeling really lonely even though he's got his new team with him, because he can't share everything that's going on in his head with them. He's got to be the strong leader all the time, and that's so hard because he's got all these doubts and worries swirling around in his mind, but he can't talk to anyone about them. All this responsibility is changing Kion in ways he never expected. He's becoming more serious and not as playful as he used to be because he's always thinking about the next threat or the next mission, and he can't just relax and have fun anymore, and that's making him feel like he's losing a part of himself. And here's something really crazy to think about. What if Kion's absence from The Lion King 2 is because he's become a totally different lion who doesn't even know how to fit into his old life anymore? Like maybe he's changed so much that he's afraid to go back to Pride Rock, because what if his family doesn't recognize the lion he's become? But just when you think things can't get any tougher for Kion, something happens that changes everything, because one day he's out on a mission and he comes across this group of animals who are in really big trouble and they're about to give up hope. But then Kion steps in and he uses all the skills and wisdom he's learned on his journey to save them. As Kion's helping these animals, he starts to realize something really important. He sees that all the hard work and sacrifice he's been doing is making a real difference in the world, and maybe that's worth all the loneliness and doubt he's been feeling, because he's not just protecting animals, he's giving them hope and showing them that there's always someone out there who cares. And that's when something really amazing happens. Kion starts to feel this sense of purpose that's bigger than anything he's ever felt before, even bigger than when he was leading the Lion Guard back in the Pride Lands, because now he's not just protecting one small part of the world, he's part of something that's making the whole world a better place. But here's the really wild part. What if all this stuff that Kion's going through is actually preparing him for an even bigger challenge that's coming in the future? Like maybe there's some huge threat on the horizon that's gonna need all of Kion's strength and wisdom to face, and everything he's been through, all of the loneliness and doubt and struggle has been shaping him into the hero that the world is going to to need. Kion's been protecting animals and fighting bad guys for so long now that he's become this incredible legend without even realizing it. Animals all over the savannah are telling stories about a mysterious lion who appears out of nowhere to save the day and then vanishes without a trace. It's like Kion's turned into some kind of animal kingdom superhero, swooping in to help and then disappearing before anyone can get a good look at him. And the craziest part is, Kion has no idea that he's become this famous because he's always moving on to the next mission, never sticking around long enough to hear the tales that are spreading about him like wildfire through the grasslands and jungles. Some animals are starting to think that Kion is just a myth or maybe even some kind of spirit guardian because they never get a clear look at him. He's always there in the shadows, just out of sight. Kion starts to hear these whispers and rumors about this legendary lion protector, but he doesn't even realize they're talking about him because he's so focused on his mission and doesn't see himself as anything special. He's just doing what he thinks is right, but all these stories are creating this larger-than-life image of him that's way bigger than the real Kion. This legendary status is actually starting to help him in his mission because the bad guys are getting scared of this mysterious protector they keep hearing about. They don't know when or where he might show up, so they're always looking over their shoulders. Kion's inspiring other animals to stand up and protect each other. There are groups of animals all over the savannah who are trying to be like the mysterious lion hero they've heard about, forming their own little guardian groups and looking out for each other. Kion doesn't even know that he's the one who inspired all of this. It's like he's created this whole movement without even trying. By the time The Lion King 2 is happening, Kion has become this almost mythical figure in the animal kingdom. Animals are telling their cubs bedtime stories about the great lion protector, leaving out offerings for him, and creating elaborate rituals to try and summon him when they need help. Maybe this is why Kion's not in The Lion King 2, because he's become such a legend that showing up in person would actually make it harder for him to protect animals. If he suddenly appeared at Pride Rock, everyone would recognize him and his cover would be blown. All those animals who believe in this mythical protector might lose hope if they found out he was just a regular lion with scares and doubts and fears. But being a legend comes with its own set of problems. Some animals start expecting too much from him, calling for his help for every little thing, and Kion can't be everywhere at once. He's starting to feel the weight of all these expectations. And then there's the loneliness of it all because Kion can never really connect with anyone or make real friends because he always has to keep moving and stay mysterious. He can't ever let anyone get too close because they might figure out who he really is and shatter the illusion. But maybe there's a silver lining to all of this because Kion's legendary status might be preparing him for an even bigger challenge that's coming in the future. Maybe there's some huge threat on the horizon that's going to need all of Kion's strength and wisdom to face, and everything he's been through, all the loneliness and doubt and struggle, has been shaping him into the hero that the world is going to need. So we've been on this wild journey with Kion, right? But what if his story is even bigger? Imagine Kion as this amazing protector of animals everywhere, helping creatures we've never seen in places we didn't know existed. What if he's become such a legend that other animals tell stories about him without realizing it's Kion? That would be so cool. Maybe someday we'll discover what an incredible hero he became. Who knows what secrets we might uncover about our favorite lion cub? Keep watching for more exciting theories about Kion's amazing adventures.